Plenty of ugly for Texas. And then you'll hear Sark address it coming up once again. But first 10 minutes of the game on Saturday was real ugly. I mean, the Longhorns, your home opener, big crowd. You're thinking 11 a.m., we're going to come out crisp and efficient. Well, that was not the case. Matter of fact, the first play, which was a well-drawn-up scripted play, a little pump pass to DeAndre Moore on an end around, would have gone down as an Arch Manning pass because it was forward. And he picked up 25 yards, but it got called back because Parker Livingston had a holding call. So it gets called back. You're down 1st and 20 or whatever it was. You end up punting a couple plays later. And it just, looked a little flat-footed. Spartans then drove the ball and missed a field goal against the Texas defense. Then on their second drive, Texas went 4 plays and punted. Then San Jose State moved the ball again, flipped the field position, and punted Texas back to the 9-yard line. And you look up, it's 10 minutes into the game, Jack. San Jose State had 60 yards of offense. Texas had 20. And they punted twice. And you're like, okay, guys, wake up. Alarm clock time. And they obviously needed a jolt. And here it came, because after back-to-back Christian Clark running plays, remember we told you Trey Wisner didn't play in this game. He was held out for precautionary reasons, according to the coaching staff. He's got a lower leg injury, and it's a long season, and they didn't want to risk it. But he was not out there. So it was C.J. Baxter, your leading rusher in the game, but Christian Clark got some time. So we had 2 runs. It made it 3rd and 3. And you could kind of feel it in the stadium. It's like, okay, guys, let's get a first down. Let's not punt again 3 times in the first quarter. And Arch Manning and his buddy and his roommate, Parker Livingston, made sure that they did not.
3rd down and 3. Manning, downfield, wide open, and here's Livingston. Parker Livingston, look at him go, just like that. Hook 'em.
Hook 'em. Thank you, Joe Tess. The white lightning, they call him, or white chocolate, white lightning. He's white lightning on that play. Parker Livingston with the 3rd down, 73-yard touchdown catch, and the Longhorns are on the board. And then this became the trend over the next 5 minutes. Quick turnover forced by Jelani McDonald on the next San Jose State drive. Ball gets tipped up in the air. Jalen Gilbo with his first career interception. Texas has the ball back, and what do you know? Who's he going to go to with a short field?
To score again. Quick strike to the end zone, and it's a touchdown to Livingston again.
Thank you, Joe Tess. And listen to Parker Livingston. He said, man, I was still out of breath from the other touchdown. It happened so quick because he ran 80 yards and had to outrun the coverage. Here's Parker Livingston. He's already got 3 touchdowns on the board in his young career.
On your second touchdown, you checked in on that play. Did you know you were going to run that slant route?
I did not, actually. I had the 83-yarder, and then I think we got a turnover right away, so I was still kind of gasping for air on the sideline. And then our receiver coach put me back in that play, and it happened.
All right, so he's a little out of gas. He ran 83 yards, and now I'm going right back in. Slant route touchdown, Longhorns on the RPO. And guess what, Jack? They scored a red zone touchdown. Red-zone touchdown, which was good to see. That happened, and then another fumble force. This time it's Leungala putting his hat on the ball, forcing a fumble. Longhorns get it right back. And it's a touchdown pass to Jack Endries, quick one. And then Anthony Hill punches out a fumble, and literally punched out a fumble. I mean, he just jacked that ball. Comes with that big right mitt and forced a fumble. Texas gets it, and Arch Manning made him pay another touchdown pass to his young tight end
to score again.
See if we find the next one to the tight end. Here we go.
Said it, and you saw it there. Manning with time. But does he have an option?
Check this. Let's do this highlight. This is the touchdown pass.
Goes
too many of them.
To the near side. Here's the play action. A chance for that shot. Downfield. Gets it complete. Endries into the end zone. Another touchdown pass for Arch.
There you go. And then the scoring was capped off. Now, that was the 5-minute burst, right? You got 28 points in 5 minutes, literally. You had no points in 10 minutes, and we're looking sluggish. Next thing you know, it's 28-0. But as I said, the issue for Texas, good, bad, and ugly, is going to be what was going on in the other 55 minutes of the football game, where you only outscored San Jose State 10-7. And I understand things change when you get a big lead. But it was just sloppy and unfocused would be the way I would put it. But let's listen to Arch Manning. This is where the dual threat athleticism came. This was the final touchdown for the Longhorns, and it came from 20 yards out. So technically a red zone touchdown, Jack, from the quarterback.
Said it, and you saw it there. Manning with time. But does he have an option? Gonna run now. And he does so inside the 10, turns the corner, keeps his balance, and scores. The athleticism of Arch Manning.
All right. right, so the athleticism and pretty lame tackling by San Jose State, too. If you see the replay, all they had to do was shove him out of bounds. I think they thought he was going to run out of bounds, and he didn't. He toe-tapped the sidelines and made the touchdown. So Arch Manning with 5 touchdowns accounted for. And one thing I'll say, watching Texas through 2 games, watch this. We talked about with John Mateer a little bit ago at Oklahoma. One of the things that can become a huge weapon for Texas in this offense is the second level touchdown or pass plays, where Arch can dodge the initial pass rush, and if he doesn't see the play he wants, he can move and throw the ball down the field. That scramble drill stuff is what Texas is really going to have to work on, because I think it can become a strength of this team against the better teams on their schedule. And we saw it in the second half against Ohio State, but Arch was just inaccurate with the ball. In this game, he was accurate most of the time and made the throws. He had a couple drops too in that game, but at the same time, that second level stuff where the initial play they cover, but you can, with your athleticism, not take off to run, but take off to keep your eyes downfield and create a big play. That's going to become a big part of this offense, and we saw Arch do it in this game. And then on that particular play, we saw Arch just take off and run, which he can do as well. Now, that's a big component of what Texas can be against the best teams. Now, Arch has to slide and not take shots and all that stuff, but it can be really, really big. Here's Sark when asked about the complimentary football they played for 5 minutes, where they got the turnovers that led to quick points that led to the victory.
Sark, you just mentioned how the linebackers attacked the ball at the second level. What do you like about the way Anthony Hill kind of set the tone defensively, creating those turnovers? And also, how do you like the way your offense complemented the defense by scoring after those turnovers?
Yeah, no, it's a great point. Ant is, I think Anthony, Leonga, Ty Anthony, those guys all have a knack for attacking the ball, whether it's what we call a peanut punch or strip attempts. I mean, that is like innate in their style. Now, that's Anthony Hill. That's why he's been the player he's been for 2 years. He creates these explosive plays on defense, whether it's the sack fumbles, the punch outs, the interceptions, all the things that he does, and that generates the momentum in a game. But to your point, turnovers are great only if you do something with them when you get them. And I thought right away, the first 3 turnovers we get, those turn right into 21 points, and that's the momentum in the game. Now the crowd's involved. They're having fun. Like, it's all part of the cycle of what creates a home field advantage. And I thought that all showed itself there early in the ball game.
All right. But as we go ahead, Jack.
No, I'm watching that, the punch out. He does not get the ball at all. He fully just gets side of the face. He doesn't touch the ball. It's crazy. Anthony Hill.
Well, he did. He came down.
I'm watching it. He does not touch this ball. It's crazy.
And he came down right next to his chin, the face mask, and right through his shoulder pad. I do think he got it at one level, because that's what popped the ball out.
Yeah, come watch it on the break here. It's crazy.
All right, let's hear Sark, too. And this is what we played off the top of the show, but I think it's what Longhorn fans want to hear. That was okay. That 5-minute stretch was explosive and eruption, the whole bit, and 28 points in 5 minutes is incredible. But the other 55 was not focused, and too many penalties, and Sark says it will be addressed this morning.
The timely penalties a week ago were critical to us not winning that game. The one touchdown drive they have, the first drive they have was at 30 yards in penalties. And so when you come out today and you have 12 penalties for 115 yards, and it's easy to say, it was this guy or that unit's problem. We had holdings on the perimeter. We had holdings on the interior line. We had a roughing the passer. We jumped off sides on defense. And so it was kind of across the board, which to me is, my foot's got to get in their butt here on Monday morning. Like, that's unacceptable. And there's a standard in which we want to play the game, and 12 penalties does not meet that standard.
And one thing I'll say, and we'll get to the timeout here, it's Horns at Half Past, brought to you by Dr. Greg Eckert. He's my dentist and would love to be yours. Here's the thing, right? The penalties and the mistakes and the the focus miscues, Jack, are happening by some of your best players. I mean, it was Manny Muhammad who roughed the kicker when you shouldn't have even gone after the kick, but you did early, and you're going to get a short field, and you end up giving them a 15-yard penalty. Colin Simmons jumping off sides. I think he's just trying to make a play, but Colin Simmons with a roughing the passer that didn't need to happen. These are your best players. So those guys have to take it upon themselves, because one of the things we talked about as a story for this team is you're losing a lot of leadership to the NFL. Quinn Ewers, whatever you thought of him, was a leader of that team in the locker room. Kelvin Banks, by example. Jade Barron, Andrew Makuba. These were leaders of your football team that held you to a standard. who are going to be those guys on this team? Because it's a younger team than last year for sure as far as experience. And it's those guys that you're going to rely on for leadership because they're your best players that are making some of these mistakes. And so they're going to have to hold each other accountable to that. And that's, as Sark just said, it was only 5 or 6 penalties against Ohio State, but they were critical to the outcome of the game. They were miscues that took, that gave Ohio State drive extension and scores. They can't happen. There was a safety that was taken off the board by a penalty. And now you followed up with a 12 penalty performance against an inferior team. As Sark just said, the boot will be in their hindquarters today. And they have to take themselves. That's got to take it into their locker room and hold themselves accountable to especially because you can't lead as a player if you're not doing it the right way. And they just got to clean that up and play with focus on every single play. We'll come back and talk about it. Also, the push in the run game isn't where you want it. That's concerning. We will talk more about that. We'll hear Sark talk about Arch Manning's performance, putting the Ohio State game behind him and putting a 5-touchdown performance on the board. We'll have that for you coming. But also, we'll get into the NFL. Pretty thrilling day of pro football. The Rams-Texans game wasn't thrilling, but it was a defensive struggle or slog. But if you didn't stay up to see the Bills come all the way back and beat the Ravens last night, you should have. What a ball game. That's an instant classic. We'll talk about it in the A block coming next hour. But coming next, Jack Farrell has some in other news that he's found from the busy weekend. It's game time.